The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Hey, welcome to the program. It is the Ron Van Dam Show. It's got my name in the title. They were going to call it the Annoying Grouchy Bastard program, but they didn't do that because I don't think you're allowed to do that here. Anyway, I've been doing this for 30 years, not here, but I've been doing it for 30 years on the radio, and I'm still doing it. And if you want to listen to it, I do it every single weekday. Wow, that's a lot. There's like thousands and thousands and thousands of episodes. You can listen to them. You can binge listen until the day you die, I guess, because there's enough of them. Go to newenglandbroadcasting.com or just Google The Ron Van Dam Show on your official Google machine. iPhone, Android, whatever. Thanks for being here. Once a week I come to this studio, I come unto you in this studio to do the visual version of the radio show so that you can see my arms move every once in a while. It's fascinating. On my regular radio show, I do like about a 10-minute interview on every program usually, unless I just have so much to say that I won't shut up. And we talk to guests about all different kinds of stuff that I think you would find interesting. Nothing serious, nothing heavy. We have enough of that heavy stuff in life, don't we? Oh my God, we do. So I try to just make things light and, just enjoy your life as best you can. I started to wear glasses. That was a downer. My optometrist, who's part of my medical team. And I didn't know I had a medical team. One of them is an optometrist. He said, Ron, wear glasses and just shut up. I said, I can't shut up. It's what I do for a living. He said, well, then just wear the glasses. So I do. Thank you very much. I believe it makes me look intelligent, although I thought I was intelligent before I wore the glasses. And now, whoa, watch out. Anyway. I try to associate with you in some way, which is really not easy to do. A little bit about me. Hello, I'm tall. That's it, pretty much. When I see something or when I do something, I do it on various levels. Nothing is just simple to me. There's always the possibilities and the turning it into something creative. It's just absolutely annoying. I wish I was just stupid, like many of you, because then I wouldn't have to be so introspective about everything. Oh my God, it's tiring. I'm not a person that takes chances. I don't, because I know the ramifications of the things if I do take chances. Is life more exciting when you take chances? I don't think so. For example, yesterday I was in Dedham, Massachusetts. It's a little sleepy town in Massachusetts. And they have a place called the Legacy Mall. It's an outdoor mall. If it rains, they're pretty much screwed. You know what I'm saying? Let's build an outdoor mall. Okay, I hope the weather's good. Massachusetts, yeah, it's always good. No, it's not. It snows, it rains. Outdoor mall? What are you thinking? But yesterday was quite nice, and I enjoyed strolling through the mall in the evening. And I decided to I wanted some sushi. I usually don't have sushi, but I had already had dinner, and I didn't want a lot, so I figured sushi is fairly light. I don't know what it is, but it's fairly light. Never a fan of sushi, really, because I think that eating raw fish is taking a chance. I don't know where this raw fish concept came from. The way I was brought up, it's not a good idea. A lot of people eat sushi. I guess it works out. I guess it's safe to eat the raw fish. I mean, as long as it's rolled up in rice, I don't. I guess it's safe when I go to a sushi restaurant or I pass one by. I don't see like dead people lying in the parking lot because they just came out of the sushi restaurant and had raw fish. So I guess it's okay. And I have a friend, and I use that term so loosely, it's not funny. I have a friend who eats sushi all the time, and he's still living, so I guess it's okay. So anyway, so I was by myself. So when I walked in, the host of the place, they said, "Hey, you're a restaurant host. I'm a talk show host. Oh, we have something in common." He didn't know he didn't know what I was talking about. He said, "Would you like to sit at a table or sit at the sushi bar?" And I said, "Well, you said the word bar. Let's do that." Sat down at the sushi bar, which, by the way, served no alcohol and was nothing but a long plank of wood with some stools in front of it. But hey, whatever. I can adapt. So I'm sitting at the sushi bar and quote unquote sushi bar, and I'm staring at, right in front of me is a long counter, and there are 3 sushi guys. I think that's what you technically call them. There were 3 sushi guys standing on the other side of the wooden plank, little glass case that I was sitting facing. And they are like so intensely involved in rolling sushi. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, they are like, an explosion could have gone off and these guys would not have heard it. They were intensely rolling these sushis and going that and moving. And it was like an orchestrated symphony of raw fish. But here's what I don't understand about the sushi bar. Unless you go to a really highfalutin restaurant, sushi bar is not pretty. It's not pretty. Basically, I'm facing what looked like a deli case, and this is like right here. It's right there. And in the deli, in the glass case, you can see there are 10 plastic containers, like plastic shoe boxes, and inside you can see right through is this raw fish, pieces of raw fish, and the little plastic boxes are numbered 1 through 10, and they're lined up in the sushi case. And I got to tell you, not the most appetizing observance I have ever made. They seat me in front of a glass case with 10 Tupperware containers with stuff in them, and I thought it doesn't. I hope the case is refrigerated. I don't know, but it doesn't really look like it's like really properly controlled here. On top of the case, and this is like right in my field of vision, is an oblong box, and it says on it plastic wrap. There's no brand name. It's just plastic wrap, and there it is, like right in front of me. And basically what I'm looking at are plastic containers and plastic wrap and some raw fish and 3 guys. It's just a little off-putting. I was put off. Did I order the sushi? No. I had what they called a spring roll because it's spring and it's a place where these guys professionally roll things. So I went with that. It was very tasty. Came with a peanut sauce. Who doesn't like that? Unless you're allergic to peanuts. And the guy who took my order, when I said, I want the spring rolls, please, I just want a little appetizer, And he said, do you want the tofu or the shrimp? I said, well, the shrimp, it's the same price as the tofu, duh. It comes with peanut sauce, but he didn't say to me, do you have any peanut allergies? He did not say that. And I think that's against the law. Unless, if it's going to be against the law somewhere, it would be in Massachusetts. It would be against the law not to ask if you have a peanut allergy. Of course, sometimes it can go further than that. Do you have a peanut allergy? Are you married? Do you have children? Do you have any pets? How often do you defecate? Do you go to the bathroom regularly? It doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. The entertainment was staring into a box of plastic wrap and 10 Tupperware containers with what was in those things. I have no idea How long they've been in there, I don't know. It did not look like the cleanest deal in the world. And this was not a low-class restaurant. This is a fairly nice restaurant. So I don't understand sushi. I don't get it. I don't understand. When I was growing up, my parents told me under no circumstances should you ever eat any raw fish or any raw meat. You don't do that. You can have raw vegetables, celery, carrots, have a field day with those things. An apple perhaps. But not raw poultry and not raw fish, Ron. It's not like I've ever seen a fishing trawler, one of those little fishing boats. They go out into the ocean or whatever, or the river, and they have fishing poles and they catch the fish. I've never seen them bring the fish out of the net onto the floor of the boat, pick up a fish and take a bite out of it. I've never seen that. Well, Ron, they clean the fish. What, they give it a shower? What do you mean they clean it? Well, they cut it up and stuff. And that makes it edible? I don't understand. I don't see people walking down the street munching on raw fish. It just doesn't, hey, look at there's a raw fish. Oh, it's tasty, huh? I don't know my raw fish anyway. I don't know a rainbow trout from a frog. I have no idea. I'm not into that stuff. That was my sushi experience, and I live to tell about it. Look, sushi is an item. I mean, there are restaurants of sushi. People love sushi. I'm not putting it down. I'm not saying that sushi places are unhealthy or unclean. They are. I mean, they have boards of health, and they would not let this go on, if this was a bad thing. All I'm saying is, thank God for the sushi restaurants and the plastic industry, because apparently they buy more Tupperware than anybody I've ever seen, and tons of boxes of plastic wrap. It's ironic, because if you go into the ocean, you find two things. You find fish and you find plastic. All right, let's move on, shall we? Ron, you've exhausted that subject. Move on, will you, please? How are you, by the way? I'm going to stay on this subject. These are taking chances, man. I don't take chances with raw fish. I just don't. I'm not into it. Remember when bungee jumping was a big thing? Some people still do it, and I don't know why. I guess no one tapped them on the shoulder and said, don't do that anymore. Remember when bungee jumping was a big thing, where people would go to the side of a bridge looking down on rocks or ravine or stream or something. They would tie an elastic rope around their waist and jump off the bridge. And you didn't even have to want to commit suicide. You didn't even have to be depressed. I mean, you could just do it as a sport. Whoa, wait a minute. So they'd actually jump off the bridge, connected on their waist to a bungee cord. First of all, you have got to be so reliant on the bungee cord industry that that's not going to snap. And man, if I were a bit overweight, I wouldn't take my chances on that one. So you jump off the bridge and you plunge to your death head first. Okay. And at the last second, the cord stops you from hitting the ground or the water or whatever and bounces you back up. And that's it. You cannot take on the sport of bungee jumping and own just one pair of pants. I would assume every time you bungee jump, you are going to soil your pants to the point where they cannot be laundered anymore. Anytime you see somebody in Walmart buying like 20 pairs of pants, you should point at them and say, bungee jumper, bungee jumper, or jumper. Same day with skydiving, same thing. Same thing. People celebrate their birthdays by jumping out of a plane. Okay. Some people just have cake. And then in some cases you don't skydive by yourself. You attach yourself bodily to a professional skydiver in one of the most awkward sensations in the world, plunging to your death, strapped to another guy. And if you're I don't know, it depends on your social disorientation. I'm not into skydiving either. That also requires a large number of pants and a great reliance on your parachute. Well, Ron, they have backup parachutes. Oh, okay. Look at my back. Look at your back. Do you see any wings? No, you're not meant to fly in the air by yourself, okay? Airplanes have wings, and they've designed this accordingly. People jumping out of planes by themselves, no wings. Then, the grandfather of all things that don't make sense, and that is hot air ballooning. Even that phrase sounds absurd. Hot air? Balloons? What could you be talking about? My girlfriend at the time decided she wanted to take a hot air balloon trip in northern Massachusetts, which is, believe me, not the hot air balloon capital of the world. It's just not. And she just wanted to do this. And she said, Ron, aren't you coming along? I said, no, you need somebody to take pictures from the ground, so I will fulfill that duty. I'd love to go, but I think I should be taking pictures of this. Otherwise, what's the point? You're right, Ron. And the reason I said that is because this just looked totally absurd. There was an entire contraption with fire shooting out of it, like an out-of-control campfire. And it shot the flames into this material that the hot air made it balloonish. And I thought in my mind, with my education, that a raging fire blowing hot air into latex or whatever the hell that stuff was might not be a good idea. Could the balloon itself catch fire with a fire only a couple of feet below the balloon? Yeah. That's not bad enough. Attached to this portable campfire and balloon is a wicker basket. I don't know where they get these wicker baskets from since Pier 1 went out of business. So, all right, here are the components. A raging fire, a latex balloon, and a wicker basket. What could go wrong? What are the three most flammable things in the world? Let's put them together and take a ride. Now, the basket is not even large enough to move around. The basket is no bigger than a tiny little basket. It's probably 3 or 4 feet wide, and that's it. And the funny thing is that these couples, they do these romantic hot air balloon rides. They think it's going to be romantic, but you forget it's not just the two of you who can't move at all anyway. But there's also a third person there, usually a guy who apparently knows what he's doing. I'm not seeing a pilot's license here or anything like that. So your little romantic excursion involves a guy who basically, if he turns around wrong, is having sex with you by mistake. Enjoy your hot air balloon ride. Why don't you? Oh my God. And this is why I don't take chances of that sort. Let's take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll do the last portion of the program. I know you can't wait for that to happen.
Gentlemen, have you ever been in the mood for a nice knish or maybe bagel in the schmear, but you're also in the mood for some exotic dancing? You can't find those in the same place. Until now. I'm Moishi Kaufman, inviting you to come visit us at Moishi's Knish and Strippers, the area's first genuine kosher deli and titty bar. Come in and rock out with your locks out and check out our dancers. These girls are so nice you'll plots, and they're all certified kosher. Maybe not the kind of girl you bring home to mother, but once you see Delia fold a dollar bill without using her hands, you won't care what mom thinks. Look, Bubby, you're in a strip club. That alone is enough to kill her, so live a little. Every Thursday, don't miss our buns and brisket buffet from noon to 6. Moishi's Knish and Strippers is closed on the Sabbath. Hey, we might be a little unorthodox, but we're not heathens.
There you go. Okay. All right, fine. I'm proud of myself. Are you proud of yourself? Is there something that you do or you did that really makes you say, I'm a good person. I'm actually a good person. You know that phrase, he couldn't hurt a fly, he wouldn't hurt a fly? That's me. I wouldn't hurt a fly. Now, if you bother me or cross me the wrong way, I'll beat the crap out of you, but that's besides the point. I wouldn't do it to a fly. As the nice weather approaches, I had the door to my house open for maybe 2 or 3 minutes to let in some fresh air, which is an odd concept because air isn't fresh anymore. When I was growing up, you'd go outside for some fresh air, or you'd open the windows to get some fresh air. Now the air inside the house might be fresher than the air outside. We've polluted that sucker so much. There's forest fire smoke in the air half the time. Inside we have the air filtration systems, air purifiers. So, why would you let the outside air in now? I mean, it's the opposite. Anyway, so I wanted to let some fresh air in. And a fly got into my house. Oh, my God. You know that feeling where you've been invaded by an insect? I've got nothing against flies, really, because they don't do anything. They just fly around. Sometimes they'll land on me just because they love me. But flies are not biting me unless you're in Maine or something with some of those flies actually bite, but not around here. They're just annoying. They're just annoying. Their sole purpose in life is to annoy you. And for me, it doesn't stop at flies. But anyway, flies just to annoy you. So, so the fly is in the house, and I didn't want to kill. I could have killed the fly, but I didn't want to because the fly's got a life. These are living things, man. You know, like the sooner you understand that living things are living things, the more you'll appreciate living things and what life actually is. Your dominance as a human being does not allow you to take the lives of other things that aren't really bothering you at all, at least. So I capture flies and I set them free. And I like that about me. I chased the fly through the house, and I actually chased it toward the open door again, and the fly just flew away, because that's what flies do. They fly. Flies fly. Did you know that? Aptly named for the little animal insect. That made me feel good. For a period of time after the fly got out of my house and flew away and had its freedom, I could have killed that son of a bitch, but I didn't do it. And that's what makes me a good person. I had a girlfriend. It's not the end of the sentence. Get smart. I had a girlfriend. Lived in upstate New York. and she was renting a room in somebody's house. Nice girl, disgusting looking room. It was the middle of the summer, about 100 degrees outside, and she invited me up to her room. And I don't mean that like that. She just rented a room from a landlord. So I went up to the room, and we went into the room, and hanging near the window was this strip of adhesive paper. And adhered to this strip of paper was like 75 to 100 dead flies, just like dead on the strip of paper hanging from the ceiling. That relationship didn't last all that long, and I'll tell you why. If you're going to invite somebody up to your room, take the strip of flies down. You should do that every once in a while anyway. I don't think there was a room for another fly to die on that strip. I felt like, okay, I'm not important. You let me into a room with a strip of dead flies on it in the middle of the room near the window. What do you think of me? Where will I end up? Well, that relationship didn't last very long, especially since through my life, I always let the flies go. Let them go. Let them live. Let them fly. There was a television show when I was younger, it's still in reruns, called The Andy Griffith Show. This is where we're going to form a generation gap for some of you. Some of you don't know what I'm talking about. You don't know who Andy Griffith is. You're not sure what the hell I'm doing here. Andy Griffith was a situation comedy back in the early 60s, I believe, 1961 through 64, I believe. Many of the episodes were in black and white. That gives you an idea how old the show was. It took place in the fictional town of Mayberry, where everybody was wonderful and perfect for the most part. Starred Andy Griffith as Andy. He was the sheriff of Mayberry. This is a fictional town in North Carolina. I believe every town in North Carolina is fictional or should be. Anyway, he was he also was a single parent, a single father, bringing up his son Opie. Opie was about 9 or 10 years old or something. And apparently they never explained this in the show because it was a situation comedy, but Andy's wife, Opie's mother, had passed away at some point, and Andy was bringing up Opie by himself. And Andy was living with his son Opie in a house with his Aunt Bee. She was not an insect. She was Beatrice, but nobody will ever call anybody that. You call her Aunt Bee. She was a matronly fat woman, perfect part. Anyway, Opie was playing in the front yard of the house with a slingshot, as kids in North Carolina tend to do. By mistake, he was playing with the slingshot, shot a bird out of the tree. The bird comes plummeting down onto the lawn, absolutely injured, cannot fly. Opie picks it up and starts crying, "Oh, paw, paw, paw," calls his father paw. That's what you do in North Carolina. It's not pa, it's paw. Andy, the paw, comes running out and he goes, oh my God. And Opie feels horrible. There's this sad music in the background. Everybody's crying. Opie, during the course of this half-hour situation comedy, nurses the bird back to life, takes care of it, forms an incredible bond with the bird, loves the bird, and Andy says it's time to let the bird fly away free, and Opie says, no, but I love the bird. You can't keep the bird, Opie. Let it fly. And the bird flies away. Opie opens his hands. The bird flies away. It's a beautiful moment. I still remember it, and that's why I don't kill flies. Have yourselves a wonderful day. I wish you peace. I'm out of here.